A man who has to spend most of his life lying flat because of a serious brain condition has begun a campaign to publicise his illness and fight for better treatment. David Baldwin has what's known as CSF leak, which means fluid is leaking from his brain and spinal column, causing crushing headaches and a range of other symptoms. Experts believe the condition is more common than currently thought. Craig Anderson reports.
It was almost 5 years ago when David Baldwin was kayaking that he began to feel unwell. The following day he had a terrible pain in his head which completely incapacitated him. What he didn't know was that as a fit, active 30-something, he'd developed a cerebrospinal fluid leak and that it would be life-changing.
It generates blurred vision, it affects my hearing because the brain's been pulled down, it affects the memory as well by the various impacts that are going on. And all of this happens as soon as you stand up.
The leak means the patient's brain is no longer supported by surrounding fluid within the skull, causing crippling headaches. Only lying down helps.
I went from being a young guy who just got married, who got a promotion at work, who was enjoying my career, enjoying my sports and hobbies, to somebody who has had to spend the last almost 5 years lying down in bed.
It's believed around 50 people develop a CSF leak every year in the UK, often the result of an accident or medical procedure. But the difficulty in diagnosing what might be a tiny hole in the spinal membrane means many more may be suffering without realising the reason.
Because it's rare, a lot of people are either sent to psychiatry because they, it doesn't make sense. Why should the person have symptoms when they're upright but not lying down? There's very little teaching on this at medical schools, so unless the doctor they see is a neurologist or a neurosurgeon, they're unlikely that the doctor will even have heard of this condition.
If we were able even just to secure treatment pathways so that people have clear and consistent treatment across the country, that would be a massive step forward.
The Health Secretary has requested an investigation into the current practices of health boards to ensure they're meeting the needs of women who experience a miscarriage. It comes after the case of a woman was raised at a meeting of NHS Greater Glasgow